Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. Today's episode is an Instasode, and for those of you who are not familiar what an Instasode is yet, it's basically a post that I had put up on Instagram at some point, sometimes not that far back, sometimes quite a while back, but the main focus is that, it was heavier in the writing and deeply focused more on the mindset aspect and how I go about selecting my these posts for Instasodes, or it's two things that happen. So as I read them, I know through a feeling that kind of comes over me that does two things. One, it just really kind of, it hits me to where it's like I want to reinvigorate myself with this, with these words, and really kind of bring them more into life within myself right now in this moment within my life, right? And then the other part of it is that I feel an intuitive sense that it needs to go out into the world right now. And the hope is that it will support you in your process and kind of act like, come at you in perfect timing, if you will, like it's really perfect where you are on your path right now. So that's, pretty much how I select these posts. And so on that note, I hope you like this one and that it does come to you in perfect timing. The image itself is me training, which, there's a lot of references towards training because it's such an easy way to illustrate my point. But it's much deeper than training. It really it trickles out into all of life, and you'll capture that through my writing. I actually say it. But so the caption starts with flow. Some days my best is fucking powerful. It produces an amazing feeling and results. And then there are those days when my best is simply great effort that gets me through the motions and is an act of consistency. Honoring the daily shift, not just in your physical performance, but in any and all aspects of your life where performance is required of you, is such a crucial tool to advance your best. I don't think there is any stronger form of resistance that can act as a roadblock to growing our best selves and lives than that which we can mentally place upon ourselves. Being on your team means backing yourself up with encouragement. It means honoring the moving waves we ride in all areas of our lives without being judgmental on ourselves within the process. I love to challenge myself, and excuses or actions I choose not to allow in my life on any front ever. But that's even more reason why I know it's so important to respect days where showing up is the best I got to give that day. Understanding it's a temporary moment and not a dictator of my ultimate success. It breathes space in my mind so that I can ask myself to keep reaching for better. And for me personally, it's that continual reach that is real success. Never giving up, never backing down, never settling. The takeaway: respecting the days that are messy or tired in any area of life by not being hard on yourself for it is like a fucking magic trick that doesn't allow those days to stick to you, to slow you down, and to get in the way of whatever it is that you aim to accomplish. No. Instead, when you show yourself support by honoring those days, but not allowing them to define you, you are literally winning all the way to accomplishing whatever you're aiming for. It's what I call success in motion. Yo, success in motion. So quick side note, those words came to me so long ago when I was writing. And as a writer, I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way, but there's something so rad when you can, in very, very short amount of words, express something very deep with so much impact. And I really do feel like success in motion is such a fucking major statement, I mean, it felt like a home run when they came out of me, and it feels like a home run just to read it, truly. And the thing about it is like, what do? We think of success oftentimes as kind of like this end result. We won. And I like to think about the idea of winning on the way to winning. Why can't we do that? And that very much ties into the idea that I love expressing often here as well, is that, I do believe that the journey is the reward. And, it's all the nuances in between the big pieces that create the masterpiece, right? And so why not be winning in as many of those minutes as we can? And, winning will mean a lot of different things in a lot of different ways when we view it that way. I can go off and I have to be careful because I'll go into a rabbit hole if I start kind of throwing out all the variety of ways we could be winning. But I mean, truly, like it could be just beating your alarm clock. It could be, making sure that you got your morning journaling in. It could be, not being late to work. It could be making sure that you did get your green smoothie in, whatever. There are just so many ways to just be constantly winning throughout the day. And I think that, when we wake up and that is our intention, I'm going to win as much as I can in this day. And ultimately that just means giving it your best effort, right? I think that overall life just is you're living a wealthier life, and that is a very provocative thought to me. It's like, I don't want just these end pieces of winning. I want to fucking win all the way through, because ultimately, what do I want to do? I want to feel as good as I can in as many minutes as I can of my life. The better that I feel, the better energy I'm exuding. So it's not just me that gets to feel the wins. It's everything that lives around me. And that's a rad thought too, right? That straight up ripple effect. So, I really love the idea that, the word best, or like your best, it's not a straight line. It's definitely not static, like I state in this post. It's, first of all, it's something that's constantly evolving. We hopefully, if we're always reaching for growth, we're constantly evolving. And so our best is going to continuously be doing the same thing, especially if that is an intention and a passion. If you want to keep growing your best self, well, it's going to continue to change. And then on the other side of that is this idea, like, and this kind of, how I frame it in the post, but, some days the best, is going to feel like, holy shit, I killed it. I crushed it. I did so good. I moved the needle so far forward. Whatever, all of that stuff, right? That feeling, that intensity, that high. And then there's days where your best was just showing up. And I shouldn't even say just. I shouldn't say just, because honestly, showing up is fucking not easy when you're doing it consistently. Consistency. Damn, I love that word. I love the action. Consistency is not fucking easy for a lot of people in all different aspects of life, like so many different ways, right? So it could be diet, it could be training, it could be relationships, it's consistency is hard because there is or maybe not always, but oftentimes, discipline has to be applied for consistency. So not in every aspect of consistency, but, certainly when things get hard and, we'll relate it to training. Again, the easiest way to illustrate. There are days where it's just, I'm tired and maybe I don't feel motivated to go out there and like crush it, but it's my discipline that will help me stay consistent to make sure that I get through the motions. I got it done. And that's, how I frame it in this post, where it's like just showing up and, going through the motions and being consistent was literally my best effort in that moment of that day. And that is because we are constantly living in cycles, right? You look to nature, it's not sunny every damn day. No, that would be so weird, right? I say this all the time, but nature teaches us so much, right? And we are a part of nature. So we're not going to be a straight line either. And our efforts are not going to be a straight line either. It's not all going to be up, 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 and high, high. There are dip downs, there are side bends, there are, twirls. There are so many different, it's like a big ride, right? I mean, I think that's why it's easy to call life this adventure, because it really is that. And, driving back to the point of this post is that it's so easy to acknowledge ourselves and honor ourselves when, the performance felt really excellent, really great. When we have, when we have tangible results, even, like, look what I've done, look what I accomplished, and look, I feel, I crushed it. It's easy. It's easy to love yourself in that process and be proud and applaud yourself. It's not so easy when it's not that case. When your efforts were not producing the same kind of high, the same sensation, the same distance of needle moving forward, progress. Like, you feel like you didn't progress as much. But here's the thing, man. It's this, to love ourselves in those moments, and even, let me choose a different word than love, because it sounds so soft, even though, love is powerful. But let me angle it like this. When we honor ourselves and we respect ourselves in those moments, on those days, we are so badass, because I'll say this, I have witnessed it is so much more difficult for people to honor themselves in those moments. It is much easier for people to be hard on themselves. And it's so interesting when you think about it, because if the ultimate goal is to feel good, is to progress, is to achieve, is to create, well, what's going to help you get there faster? Or, not even just faster, but just what's going to help you get there, period? Is it going to be you, beating yourself up? No, I think that's going to put rocks in the road. I think it's going to make it a lot harder, because everything starts in the mind. So if we're having issues, if we're frustrating ourselves, if something was already frustrating, or something was already low energy, or something didn't go as far as we want, and then on top of it, we're going to get down on ourselves, what are we doing? Certainly not supporting our forward momentum. We're not supporting progress. And, some people, I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, if we look to sport, I mean, maybe some people do love that, tough kind of coaching where it's, I don't know. I mean, personally, that would not be my style. My style, is intense. Like, I like, and I know how to, ask myself for more and be intense with that asking, to push, but to also be like cheerleading myself the whole way through. And I think it's that, it's being able to do both. Maybe it's not easy. Maybe some people, it's easier to be hard and, maybe in the being hard on themselves, they're able to kind of produce better results. I don't know, but I feel like from my experience, just at this stage of my life, from all that I witnessed, I think that in people, that people make it a lot harder on themselves than they need to. And, I think that when we are able to honor and respect ourselves in these moments where our best was just showing up, and it, again, that word just, like, what are you doing, Rox? It just doesn't belong there. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're showing up was the best that we had. And, rather than being like, I could have done more, or it wasn't good enough, or damn, it's like, good job. And tomorrow, try for better. Do more, and, or not, just keep trying for better. Again, the post, it's the continual reach to me that's success. Because a lot of people, let's be real, like, don't want to reach, reach means you got to try. And the trying could be scary. It certainly could be hard. It could be a lot of those things that, a lot of people don't want to put the effort towards, but, I really love this idea of going back to kind of the original part of this Instasode, just, really being supportive and encouraging in as many minutes of the day of our lives as, we possibly can, because it generates more of a wealthy life. And ultimately you just feel a lot better throughout it, right? So yeah, you guys, I mean, I think that there's something very important about making sure that on the days where it was less progress, not as intense of a high, all of that stuff, that we really acknowledge our efforts and respect them. We ask ourselves to keep reaching and try and do better, and we keep fucking going. Acknowledge, respect, try, reach, and keep going. The reason why I started this caption with flow is because I feel that when we can do that, we get into this rhythm with our cycles, and it's really healthy. It's like the boat doesn't get rocked as much as like, shit's not just as dramatic. And oftentimes we make things more dramatic than it needs to be. But if we can ride out those moments that we're like, well, that was maybe a flop, or maybe it wasn't a flop, it was just a kind of lower vibe day or whatever. But we're always looking towards the next day, the next opportunity to try harder, better, and doing it in a way where we don't, here's the key thing, I think, not judging yourself. Not judging yourself. Huge. That's not easy. I think it's so easy to judge ourselves. But if we could just kind of high five ourselves and be like, and this is not, I'm just going to make this, I mean, I don't know if I even have to, but I'm going to do it. This is not to baby yourself. Like, oh, good job. Like, no, man, fuck. It's not even that. It's just more of, I'm going to use training again as an example. And I'm going to use my brother, Mike Safai, because he's so sick at what he does. He's a strength and conditioning coach. And, I know he's my brother, so I'm sure most would think it's easy for me to speak to him very highly. But honestly, it's not that he's my brother. I'm certainly proud of that, but it's just, he has this innate ability when he's training his clients or people he's training with. He has this ability to be very intense and push you. He'll push you. Like, trust me, you're not going to, if you stop and try and, tie your shoelace to, kill some time, don't even think about it with him. He's going to call you out on it, and it's going to be really funny. But at the same time, he's going to make you feel like a fucking champion throughout the whole training. And it's really special to not only feel that as someone who's trained with him, but just to witness it. It's like, damn. And it's not easy to do that, It's like we all can, envision the coach or, trainer who's like yelling at you, like, if you think of like, what was that show? I don't remember what it's called, Biggest Loser, whatever, it's like intense. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of that. Or then there's the ones that are just kind of more relaxed, like do this, do that. And my brother, he'll bring this like, I don't know, this like serious intensity. But again, he makes you feel like a champion while you're doing it. And so I'm going to take that concept and apply it to what this post is all about. It's like, knowing how to challenge yourself, knowing that you don't have to beat yourself up to ask yourself to do your best. And on the days where the best was not as elevating in any area, of your life, fucking, so what? Love yourself in those moments, honor yourself, respect, acknowledge, try harder the next time, keep going. That's it. That's it. So yeah, man, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, that's kind of where I'm going to leave this one. And hopefully it was thought-provoking in a way that is inspiring and maybe an action step, a call to action for you guys that I'm going to leave you with is just, on those days, those kind of lower energy frequency days, or maybe where, you weren't able to produce as much, like, how can you love and encourage yourself in those moments? How can you honor yourself and support yourself in those moments and not be judgmental? How can you do that? Like, what's your self-talk going to be like? Or what's your process going to be like? Yeah, I hope that question really makes you think about it and, puts some kind of action in motion in those moments for you, to support you to keep this whole journey that you're on, to keep this process that you're living, one that is constantly serving you, one that is success in motion, making you success in motion. I really, really love that idea. So that's it, you guys. I'm leaving you with this one. And thank you so much for tuning in again and listening to me go on a rant with this Instasode. And I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I love all of them as they come to me. DM me on Instagram, comment, snap a screenshot of this and put it up on your story. I love seeing that. I'm always so proud, and it really moves my heart. If you guys love this episode, I'd love it if you would share it, maybe leave a review and rate the podcast. It would be so helpful. It just helps the visibility of the podcast to be out there more. And, the more people that, I can reach, and support, because that is the goal here. It's like, I feel like we're all in this together, and it just feels rad to know that, I am contributing in some way. And again, like, when I get your feedback, please know that you're contributing to me. Like, this is it's such a team effort. It's such a team effort here. So love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm always looking forward to dropping new content that will continue to add value to your lives. So on that note, I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for taking the time to check out this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please share it with your friends. Head over to iTunes, subscribe to this podcast, rate it, leave me an honest review. Let's connect. I am so excited to do that in this space and really create content that elevates your mind in support of your best performance in life. You can find me on Instagram at blackbeltbeauty. I'm active there every single day, and I look forward to connecting with you all. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next one.